Hi, my name is Morgan Lloyd. I am part of Group 2, and during this presentation, I will be reviewing evaluating staff performance in the view of the nurse manager and also in the eyes of the staff members who are being evaluated. At the end of this presentation, the viewer should be able to answer and complete the following objectives. Identify the 5 steps of evaluating staff performance. Identify when the planning process occurs for performance evaluations, define what makes a SMART goal, and identify the different types of assessment of performance. Intro. So, what is evaluating staff performance and what does this mean? According to our textbook, Sullivan describes the purpose of evaluating staff as opportunity to grow and develop staff, enhance workplace and improvement in patient satisfaction scores, and improve the quality of patient care. Sullivan also describes performance evaluations as one of the most important accountabilities of the nurse manager. To start, we're going to explore the key components of performance evaluation. There are a total of 5 key components that include planning, monitoring, developing, assessing, and rewarding. Planning is the first element of the performance management process. It requires nurse managers to set performance standards and goals in order to help employees sell their efforts that they make towards achieving institutional or unit goals. Performance planning ultimately leads to a grander performance plan. It is important that managers engage employees in the planning process, which generally occurs at the beginning of the fiscal year or at the end of the fiscal year. So doing so clarifies what the employee will be evaluated on and sets the stage for ongoing feedback and coaching throughout the year. It helps employees understand the goals of their unit, what needs to be done, why it needs to be done, and really how well it should be done. Performance expectations should be set when the employee is hired, when responsibilities are changed or added, or when there needs to be some clarification of the responsibilities of the employee. Performance expectations and standards should be understandable. They should also be measurable, verifiable, and really achievable. These expectations are formed from the goals or the mission and the values of the unit and the institution. All of these goals that are set should fall under a SMART goal. SMART goals are specific, meaning they are set under precise terms. They are measurable. You should be able to keep track of the goals that are being achieved. They should be attainable. Employee is able to grow, but the goals are not unrealistic to achieve. They should be relevant. It relates to other goals of the employees on the unit and the unit itself. And they should also be trackable, have completion dates and timeframes for these goals. Step 2 is monitoring. This requires the nurse managers to monitor the assignments of the staff and how well the staff are performing in these assignments. Monitoring additional projects that their staff are completing, if they're in groups or clubs. Monitoring occurs continually and involves measuring performance and providing employees and timely ongoing feedback throughout the year on their progress towards reaching their goals. At this phase of the process, nurse managers should be conducting informal progress reviews with the employees, comparing their performance against the established expectations that were set in the planning stage that we just went over. The benefit of monitoring is that it provides the opportunity to determine how well the employees are meeting expectations and standards, to provide them early feedback, and to modify any standards that seem to be unrealistic for the employees to achieve. Another benefit of monitoring performance is that bad or unacceptable performance can be identified during this period, and provide the employee a chance to change the problems and address the problems, rather than waiting until the annual performance assessment takes place. Step 3 is developing. This step helps the employee have an opportunity throughout the year, like in a way to bulk up their positives for their yearly evaluation. Developing can include the employees keeping up with the changes in the workplace, adding new skills, taking away some of the outdated skills that they have learned in the past. This could also include new trainings, harder assignments, and higher levels of responsibilities, such as maybe becoming a facilitator or a preceptor. Next is assessment. Assessment requires the nurse manager to assess the employee's performance. Assessing performance is important because it helps the manager compare the employee's performance over time and among all the other employees within the unit. Sullivan describes assessing as evaluating the employee against the set established expectations and standards included in the employee's performance plan. Not only do managers need to assess employees, but employees must perform self-assessments to see if they're meeting the goals that they set for themselves and that were also set for them. Peer reviews are also performed. The American Nurses Association defines peer reviews as the process by which practicing registered nurses systematically assess, monitor, and make judgments about the quality of nursing care provided by peers as measures against professional standards of practice. Skills competencies is another form of assessing performance of healthcare workers. Skills competencies are important because it assesses if the employee has the ability to perform the skill correctly and, more importantly, safely. This occurs on an annual basis. Skills competencies can be completed by simulations, testing, or direct observation. The fifth and final step is rewarding. It recognizes employees individually and as members of a team for their performance and contributions to helping the unit achieve its objectives or its mission overall. One principle of an effective performance evaluation is that all behavior is controlled by its consequences. This can be formal, it can be informal, and both positive and negative. Recognition and acknowledgement is an ongoing natural part of the day-to-day interaction between the nurse manager and employee. Rewarding can include raises, salary increases, and bonuses, typically during the annual review. Here is an overview video of performance reviews that I hope helps solidify
each goal with its final outcome. This method is simple. Performance appraisal or evaluation, as it is sometimes called, is a review by a manager where the employee's work performance is evaluated and strengths and weaknesses are identified so that the employee knows where improvement is needed. Over the years, there have been some new types of reviews that are being met with success in today's business world. These require that evaluations be done not only for raises, promotions, or bonuses, but for an employee's growth and development. These include management by objectives review. This method, often called MBO, measures the employee's accomplishments against a clearly established set of objectives. If managers and employees begin the year by working together to list these objectives, the end-of-year appraisal can simply compare each goal with its final outcome. This method is simple, clear, and empowers employees in the goal-setting process, but it disregards non-goal-related success metrics. Rating scale is probably the most common review type. Using this method, a supervisor rates an employee on a numerical scale for a defined set of behaviors, traits, competencies, or completed projects. This method gains points for simplicity and functionality, but it only works well if both managers and employees share the same understanding of each point on the scale. The 360-degree feedback review is a new kind of performance review. It incorporates data from peers, supervisors, and even outside parties like customers and suppliers. This broad feedback can provide a multi-dimensional picture of performance that can cancel the influence of bias. The goal is to paint an accurate picture of employees' strengths and weaknesses. Gathering feedback from multiple sources is a great way to ensure employees are rated fairly and accurately. No matter which type of performance evaluation used, remember the goal is to foster communication between managers and employees. To make your performance reviews as productive as possible, try the following steps. Be prepared. Lead with the positive. Don't be confrontational. Keep it simple. Be consistent. Make it a two-way conversation. Address what's important to the employee. Discuss work and life balance. Be a good listener. Give feedback regularly. To download the review templates mentioned in this video, as well as a guide on how to conduct the actual performance review, visit us at turnkeydoc.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay.
Hopefully that video helped see some options and solidify the overall goal. That concludes my presentation on evaluating staff performance. I hope you all enjoyed this presentation and learned a few things. Thank you for listening.